Hey guy or girl, person, it's the Points Plug. In this channel, we talk about points, miles, credit cards, everything finance. Before I begin, I want to give a big thank you to all the emergency workers that are out there working while we are supposed to be following quarantine. I assure you, it's been quite some time since I left my apartment because, well, I'll be honest with you. Do you think I like looking like this? Do you think me going 13 days without seeing my barber, you think that that's cool? It's not. It's not. This is stressful. These are unparalleled times. I sent him a text just the other day, make sure he was all right. He holding strong. Today, we are going to sit back and, yeah, we're going to talk about credit cards, but we are going to focus on timing. Like most of the United States who are following quarantine and don't have jobs that allow them to work remote or were let go because of this worldwide virus that's plaguing the nation, plaguing the world. For the people that aren't making as much as they used to or aren't really making any income at all, really, it can be difficult to manage your bills and keep money in the bank at the same time. So I want to talk to you. I want to give you some tips on how to both pay your bills and still keep cash in the bank for as long as possible. In fact, this kind of moment reminds me of when I first moved to LA. I moved into an apartment not having any job lined up, and it was stressful. Me and my woman started running out of money faster than we thought. We saw the well started to dry up, and naturally, we worried. In this panic, we started to get creative on how we paid our bills. At the time, rent was $1,100 and my credit card would be somewhere around $400. What I would do is pay my credit card at the due date, pay it off, pay that $400. Then when the statement closed, I immediately charged my rent on the card. That way I wouldn't have to worry about that until the next month. That way I was able to hold on to the physical money in my bank account longer. What this strategy did was knock two birds with one stone. I was able to pay my credit card and pay my rent with the same $400. Keep this in mind. I didn't make my rent disappear. No, what I did was I pushed it back to the next due date. Now, you're probably asking, why would I do that? This strategy allowed me to hold on to my money for as long as possible. Now, even though I had the money in the bank account to pay my rent with cash, why do that if I didn't have to? Let me hold on to that money and just pay with the credit card, which, by the way, I was getting benefits from, either points or cash back, because I used a credit card. It's a win-win. How does this quarantine remind me of being jobless in LA? Well, for many of us, we aren't working and we need to make our money last as long as possible. Not only this, but using this strategy of paying your bills with a credit card, then paying your credit card on the due date, it also has time on your side. Let's remember one thing. Unless this virus is the end-all be-all and really the pestilence of the apocalypse, this too shall pass. And we will go back to normal. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to change from this. No, of course not. I think for many of us, we've learned that, man, I do need a savings. I can't just blow it all. I do need some protection. But at the same time, this teaches us what craziness life can throw at you. I don't doubt for 1 minute that you won't forget this experience. If we pay with the credit card and then you have to pay that credit card later, who knows what could happen at that later? Who knows if vaccines, treatments, cures, anything can happen, and we need to prolong giving that money away for as long as possible. And using credit cards, we can utilize that. Now, with that said, there are a few things that I want you to keep in mind, just in case you think I'm telling you something that I'm not. Number one, I understand that things come up. If you use this strategy and let's say you put your rent on your credit card and an emergency happens where you, I don't know, heaven forbid, you do have to go to the hospital, you do have to make an emergency run, and you end up using that money that was supposed to pay the credit card that paid the rent. And in this example, naturally, you end up short. While paying interest sucks ass, it doesn't come close to having a 30-day late payment on your credit report. Trust me, that tanks your credit profile for up to 10 years. You don't want that. Trust me. So if you can't pay in full, I'm asking you to at least pay your minimum amount due. While this strategy capitalizes on holding on to your cash, let's not forget that credit cards offer an immeasurable number of benefits and perks. But different credit cards offer different values. Otherwise, you wouldn't have different credit cards, right? I'll let you in on a little secret. Most of the time, I pay my rent with my Bank of America cashback card because the way it reads the card, it's an online purchase and I get 3% cash back. 3% cash back also, not only does it negate the 2.5 processing fee, but it also gives me about $50 in cash back outside of that. So it's like a discounted rent every single month. Different credit cards offer different values. So always use the card that gives you the most bang for your buck. Now, if you need help trying to pick out a credit card or applying for a credit card, send me an email. We'll talk about it. If you made it to this part of the video, in the immortal words of the wise Judy Shineland, you ate the steak. Can you please give this video a like? Really helps us out. But if you, let's say you made it to this part of the video and you didn't like the steak, can you give me a thumbs down and can you comment on what I can do better? It helps me out also. Appreciate you. Thank you. Stay safe out there and we'll get through this together. Remember, 6 feet.